I saw this video and it was saying that women are up under, spiritual attack. Right now you see the violence against women. And, with that being said, this is not something new, and this is not because of the ends of times, right? And this brings me to my subject called the dangerous fall. Before I make videos, I always seek God and say, what is it that you want me to speak on? The new knowledge that I need that I didn't know. What can I bring to my followers, my listeners? And what came to my spirit was the dangerous fall. This happens when, a lot of times you're very naive and gullible and not aware of the people, the company that you keep. And a lot of times this is what causes women to be victims, in a relationship. So with that being said, if you see on my screen, it says bride burning. 33 years of my life, I've never ever heard of that. Bride burning. And if you've never heard of it, let's talk about it. Bride burning, and also dowry death. Bride burning is when, like, for an example, they get married, the husband is not satisfied. So he asks the wife's family for more gifts. So just like over here, we take wedding gifts to a wedding. Same thing. But if he's not satisfied and the parents is not pleasing him, giving more gifts, more money, or whatever it is that he's asking for, he will then unalive the wife. And that's called dowry death, because he did not get the gifts and things he wanted from her family. So what they do is they will burn the woman alive, or they will also drive her crazy until she commits suicide to kill herself. But a lot of times when they burn the wife is to make it look like an accident. They'll use kerosene, sometimes even acid. This has happened all the way. It's still happening now, but the latest I've seen was 2016. And this is why I want to speak on a topic of dangerous fall. Because, here, when it comes to my peers, there are so many women over here that worry so much about, being married and trying to find the right one. But you have to understand the type of foundation that you are, standing on first. For a lot of women, you say it's hard to find a man who, that you're safe with. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand the facility that you're in. It is very contaminated. There is already been a hate that has been conditioned towards women, burning women alive. So the violence you see over here, this has been happening since the beginning of time, because this is how you're seen in the world. This is why you have to fight so much for, your equal rights and being paid. This is why we have things like workplace harassment. I don't know if I mentioned this takes place in India and Pakistan, and I think the video that I saw where our father was telling the story about what happened to his daughter, that was in Australia. This is a practice that has been happening over and over, and I think the number was like 5,000 women and counting. That number was just for that year. You can also do some research on it as well, just to get the particulars. And here, as I see videos, podcasts, you always see more videos on how women should submit to somebody. But I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I don't see many videos on how this man is submitted to Christ. Let me tell you something. Don't ever think about it submitting to no man who's not first submitted to Christ. Because you'll always hear how women need to submit. But I don't see many videos on how this man is already submitted to Christ. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people want you to follow them when they don't even know where they're going. So don't even worry about that part yet, especially when you are single. Don't even worry about that. You first know Christ for yourself before you get up and follow anybody. Because when you know God for yourself, and when somebody comes along to say, you want to roll with me, you can already see who he is and where he's going and where he's not going. This is why you need wisdom, and this is why I talk to women about wisdom. You see what I'm saying? It's not just about being a woman of faith, but it's about being a woman of wisdom and having knowledge. I hear more videos about women need to submit. Don't you submit to a thing. Don't you submit to nothing but Christ for yourself. I don't hear how men or husbands should love their wife as Christ loved the church. I don't see a lot of podcasts about that. But I do hear about how you need to be in order, how you need to fall in place. Only place you fall in is with God. Catch them diamonds. And it's almost like that thing where I used to hear all the time when I was at church, children, under thy mother and father, your days will be long. But I never heard them say, fathers or parents, don't provoke your children to become angry. You see how people will take the scriptures and only apply it when it benefits them. This is why you know God for yourself, and this is why you read the word of God for yourself. You see what I'm saying? And here's another thing. This is, new revelation and just wisdom that God give to me. A lot of women always think he's a good man because he provides. Let me tell you something. Serial killers provide. There are serial killers who were married during the day, had children during the day, had good jobs during the day, paid the bills early during the day, but on I-85 at night, unaliving women. Being a provider, him being a provider doesn't mean he's a good guy. It is the posture of his heart and his actions in the dark. That is the wisdom that God gives to me. I'm going to say it again. It is the posture of his heart and his actions in the dark. This is how you know when you're dealing with somebody with good fruit and he's of good quality. Also for women. So being a provider doesn't make him a good guy. This is why a lot of women are in marriages or in relationships where the guy has a job and pay the bills, but yet she's being treated terribly. Because the truth of the matter is women are not respected. It's not just a thing that we talk about. It's not just a thing that's made up. This is all around the world. This is why I encourage women to know more about yourself, to know more the history when it comes to you. See what I'm saying? Because then it'll help you understand why it's so hard for you to secure a man who actually is safe for you. Because the foundation that they're up under and the conditions that when they come into this world, they're already conditioned to look at you lesser than. And I also read that, in my research as well. So, that video I made called The Rise of the Woman? That wasn't just, I'm not a content creator. That was a prophetic message. When I'm talking about how you see women arising all over the world. Because you got to understand, women didn't have no rights. She's just basically like a slave for African Americans. Same thing. It's the same type of setup and treatment. You see what I'm saying? When I made that message, The Rise of the Woman, that was a prophetic message. And this is what you're seeing, the violence against women. It's starting to grow, more closer to home. Because see, like I told you, when you start to surpass the boundaries that people put up for you, and you start breaking those boundaries or those barriers, I should say, you become a problem. You have breached the setup that they put for you. This is why you're hated. You was not supposed to move. I'm trying to tell you. And this is why I say the dangerous fall is when you continue to go out here and be victims and keep putting yourself in relationships and not being concerned about who you're laying with. Because like I say, a lot of women in America, to me, you glorify marriage and you don't even have knowledge of who you're marrying. That is the problem. That's the problem. You rush to get to this beautiful day just to deal with a nightmare for many years. That's the problem. Let me say this real quick. When God made Eve for Adam, Eve was like a gift. But at this moment, you see in this time where the gift, the woman, is not even being respected. You're not even respecting the gift that God gave you. You say you the helpmate. God sent you, here to help. You supposed to, I'm the head. But you're, as the head, you're not even respecting the head, which is God, and the gift that he gave you. But you want to talk a lot about somebody submitting to you. But first, you submit to Christ and honor him first. And you know that when you do right by the woman, God does right by you. But see, that's the part that they're not quite getting. And as you being a woman and you know that you are a gift, this is why I say you have to preserve yourself and let God preserve you until somebody respects you. Now that's how you walk that walk. You hear what I'm saying? Catch them big diamonds. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the mentality in this world that come from a lot of these dudes, they have a dangerous mentality. They don't even respect the gift that God give them. They don't even love the wife as Christ loved the church. And that's why I was talking about that rise of the woman. May the force of God be with you. Come on now.